Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today we're going to do a couple things today, but I just want to kind of talk about what we do with the grafts that we don't need anymore, because I know a lot of people like talk about, well, what if I graft too many and then what do I do with the extras? I mean, you can just kill them, but it kind of sucks just because of all the work that you put into it, and after a while it gets to the point where we don't know what to do with any of our grafts. So I'm going to talk about that today. I was doing really bad about grafting in the beginning, so I've been grafting like way extra than we need. And then all of a sudden they started taking really well, so now we have way too many. I think we have 20 or so that we need to put somewhere, but I've pretty much split every single hive that I can split, and at this point, if I split them anymore, we're just not gonna have bees. So I gotta find somewhere to put these grafts, but these are just part of the ones that we have. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. Are these JZBZ bars? I think they are. These are the ones that I like, and then the 2-prong, don't get those because they don't fit well in the bars, and they don't like go slide in, so it's really annoying. But if you get the 4-prong, like these parts, they fit a lot better. They're a little bit bigger on the top, but then smaller down here. They're just a lot better. So anyways, if you're gonna get these, I recommend getting the 4-prong. But these were grafted, I don't know how long ago, because a lot of people do their grafts a little bit of a different way, like what day they grafted, but then some people go off of the day that the egg was laid. But I can tell you that some of these girls are already wiggling a little bit. Now, Corey Stevens taught us this. If you just kind of take your fingernail and press in right below that cup, and you can pull that apart actually, and then see the queen there. We're working with a new camera, so I don't know if you can see or not, but basically she hasn't gotten her color yet. Like, she's still pretty white. But some of these girls are getting to the point where they're wiggling a little bit. I've gotten a little bit weird about the days that I graft them on, so some of them I've been grafting a little bit older. That's usually because I'm in a rush or something like that, but when I do graft. But yeah, I usually like to go through and just pull apart all of those cells, especially when we sell these, because I want to make sure that they're alive and good, because you'll know immediately if they're not, because they'll be all curled up in the bottom and they won't look very good. So anyways, one of the things we're doing today is just finding a place to put these. And as you can see, this nuke here has about 30 different writings on top of it. There's like queen cell, 520, the different tapes mean different things, and then no queen, and then laying queen, and then virgin. So I don't know what's going on here, but let's go ahead and check it to see what is going on. So typically, at this point in the year, we're pretty much done selling all of our nukes. So whatever's left is kind of something's probably wrong with them. So I'm kind of going around figuring out what is going on, combining any that just look small and then putting them together, adding a queen. But when you do stuff like that, when you make a ton of splits and then add queens, it's really hard to keep track of the ones that do have queens and the ones that don't. And then you end up with a ton of laying workers, and it can be a mess. So these girls are getting pretty loud pretty quick. So I would typically say that that means they're queenless, but you don't always know, so I'm going to keep looking here. They're not huge. They've got a few bees in here, but not a lot. I'm going to guess there's no queen in here because, one, there's no eggs. They're starting to backfill it with nectar, and there's a small cup right here. So let's see if there's anything in that. Okay, so they have a little egg in there, so I'm going to just smash that. Let's check this next frame. Yeah, so they're starting to fill this up. So I'm going to say there's no queen in here. Now, if I like really cared, which I do, but if I really, really cared, I would go through it and make sure that there's like no virgin in there, nothing's roaming around, nothing's going crazy. But because I just need to get rid of these cells, I'm going to put it in here. We're going to see what happens. So how I put these in, I keep the cell protector on there just to make sure that nothing happens to this cell here. Now you can just put it in just like that and it'll be fine. But I'm going to put it in with this cell protector. I would usually say put it in between like the brood, but there's nothing in here, so I'm gonna put it just right down the middle. And then I kind of push it into the side of the frame there, and then I push them together. Just like that. Now with these Pronix, it's really nice because there's a lot of extra space with these. So it fits really well, especially with like even, well, I don't know what they're called. They're cages, queen cages. So anyway, that's the nice thing about Pronix. But that's just what I'm doing today, just going through and checking ones that maybe have a queen, maybe don't, and if they have a virgin and I don't know what's going on, I just add another cell just so I can get rid of them or something. Now, I would typically mark all of this out and then just put cell and then the date, but I don't have a marker on me, so basically next time I come back into this yard, I'm going to be confused again, but that's all right. So I've got some more. I'm just going to keep going down the line and checking these ones, figuring out what's going on. But before we do that, I do want to go and check one of the breeder queens that we have from Corey Stevens. That's a little bit of a walk, so we're going to pause the video and then go over there. But I just want to check to see how they're looking and what the next step is with that. So let's go do that. Okay, so we're over here with one of the breeder queens that we have. Now, if you don't know already, I posted a video with Corey Stevens. I actually have a few, and then I have a video kind of explaining the exact thing that we did last time we were in this hive. Now, if you want to check that out, I'd recommend just kind of get an idea of what's going on now. But what we'd use was a push-in cage, which this is what that looks like. And we put the queen in the middle of it and then locked her in there for a couple of days. It was a while, actually. We did that just to be safe, to make sure that nothing happened with that. And it's just really scary when you kind of see, when you get to actually see the work that goes into making a breeder queen. You get really scared about putting that queen into your hive and just not knowing if they're going to ball her or kill her or whatever is going to happen. So I've been really cautious about everything. Now, these girls are a little small. They only have 4 frames in here. Typically, you would want 5. Now, I think what I'm going to do is either add a frame of brood or shake some bees in front of the hive just to give them a little bit of a boost because I don't want them dying. But let's show you kind of what's going on in here. Now, the goal is, I believe the honey flow is only going to last another 10 days or so. We haven't had a very good year with it, but that's just is what it is. So what I'm going to do afterwards is, after the honey flow, when we pull all of our supers, we're going to go ahead and split all of our double deeps down to singles, most likely. That way we can double this year and get some more hives. And then what I'm hopefully going to do is actually graft off of a breeder and put those into those splits. Now, I just wanted to see if she's got some good grafting frames, if she's laying, kind of what's going on. I pulled the push-in cage out a while ago, and I did notice that she was already laying, which is really good. Oh, so here she is. So she's number 17. I have noticed that she's a little bit smaller than our other queens. For some reason, ours gets pretty big, but I don't know. Now, this frame here, this would typically be a good graft frame, actually. You won't be able to see it, but the larva in there is pretty good. It's not covered in royal jelly like I would like it to be, but it would still be a good one to graft from, and I'll make an exception just because it is a breeder queen. But so she looks good. She's laying up. All of this has a good laying pattern so far. Now this next frame I think has a small patch of brood, so let's look at that. Now I don't know if I mentioned this in one of the other videos, but a lot of people talk about Corey Stevens or VSHBs being aggressive. Now, one of the things about that is I did say that. I was one of the fewer people that did say that in the beginning, that they are more aggressive. But I've come to realize that I really don't care if they're aggressive as long as they have VSH traits, and if they can get rid of varroa mites, I don't really care too much of how aggressive they are. Now, of course, I don't want them to be crazy mean because that would just suck, but I mean, right now you can see there's really no bees on me whatsoever, and I have yet to get stung from any of these breeders yet. So this is just a small patch of brood. Hopefully soon it'll kind of give them a little bit of a boost because they are pretty small. But it looks good so far. So I'm definitely going to graft from them here in the next week or two, which I'm really excited about that, just to see how they do in our apiary, and just in the next year looking forward to seeing how these VSH queens do. But I'm just really excited about all of it. So that's how the breeder queens are doing so far. We've pulled all the push-in cages out. and they seem to be laying, looking good. So that's kind of the update on that. I try not to check them too much just because I don't want to roll a queen or anything like that. But I think that's pretty much it. So we're just going to keep going around today, making as many splits as we can to get rid of these queen cells. And yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.